Hello. How is everyone? Having complications with my microphone. Okay. Who's here? Um, Remy, hello, and you're first. Matt Rogers, second. I think this is the first time I see you here, Matt. Welcome. I saw someone else. Hello, Marilyn. Well, you guys probably saw the guy, Marilyn and Remy, that I wasn't very present over the weekend on our chat. I've been like super busy working on renovations and decluttering the house. It's been like an ongoing project all weekend long. But I have a downstairs bathroom now. So, hello, Scott, right? Hope I'm right. Rambling with the brooms. So now I officially have a downstairs bathroom, no walls, but I have a bathroom that actually works. So now we are back at having two bathrooms. Yes. I came in, pop in, try to read a little bit just to keep myself up to date with, like, you guys are chatting nonstop or almost nonstop on a daily basis. So I'm having a hard time following you guys, but that's mainly why I wasn't there. And I also try to take some time off of social media. In weekends, I'm with my husbands and my kids, so I find it's the best time to actually take off. I'm just going to turn this off. My phone's going crazy. Okay. Other than that, what else have I done? I've been canning, not that much. And I did have a sad day on the homestead this week. One of my first viral shorts was about one of my hens called Fluffy. She's in Buff Orpington, and she was like a pet to me. And I lost my hen this week. I think it was on Thursday or Wednesday. It was such a heartbreaking moment that I lost my favorite chicken. I know it's just a hen, but she would follow me around everywhere I go. She would never really do any bad things to the garden. Yes, she was digging. Yes, sometimes she was digging up some of my plants. But she was so delicate that, I tolerated her all over my yard, and she would follow me around, and I probably it's just my mind acting up on me, but she was standing next to me and she was looking at me, and I felt like she was like going like this, like pick me up. And then when I did, I would just rub her and she would be in heaven. Like, as soon as I put her down, she would do that thing again, like pick me up. So it was a sad day. What did I miss? Yes, I had your name right. Cool, another name. Oh, nice. So you were able to reach them, and you're going up there. I know. It's sad, but like, she was 5 years old. Yeah, she was 5 years old in September. And from what I'm reading, past 5 years old, every single day is a blessing. So I still have 3 hens that are 5 years old. One of them is a hybrid cross. It's not a Rhode Island Red. It's the cousin of that one. And I have 2 Easter eggers left from my original flock. So every morning I go outside and I always like take a peek. I hate losing chickens or rabbits or even quails. Every single time I was losing someone or something or a flock, I was always in like, so I was tearing. I was like in tears all the time. Like, I lost a pet. I know some of them are meant for food, but no, she did not. Well, I don't know. The way I found her, um, I think she did. I think she either fell asleep or she just died of old age or maybe something. But she's been struggling for about a year and maybe more. She is a reject. The flock never ever ever accepted her, and I saved her twice already, and I put her in isolation and she was always alone. So that's why she was following me around everywhere in the gardens. Like I would go outside, I opened the door, she would follow me everywhere because no one took care of her. And every time I tried to reintroduce her, even at night, I would sneak up late at night, try to bring her in the coop, and you know, get in there. And then the next morning, I would find her head filled with blood. So I saved her already twice. So after saving her twice, I decided I was going to feed her exclusively high protein for 2 weeks. So she had oats, milk, yogurt. I gave her sourdough, starter, discard, and like I gave her like a lot of protein, and she came back up, but she was not gaining the weight. So she still was small, and then she started to molt. And after her molt, I saw that her eyes were different. So I'm hoping that she just left because she was 5 years old. Nothing other. I hope she was not in pain. But like surviving those attacks, it happens. Yes, I knew that in the new few super chat I left. Okay, so that's not for me. Did you experience sadness on your homestead? Okay, so I'm up. So this week I decided to. Hello, Tracy. Welcome to the live. I decided to talk about preservation. I've been canning a lot. I've been talking a lot about preservation, and I always talk about the different methods, but I never talk about my preferred ones and why. So I decided, why not? We're going to do a live about it and get a chance to know you guys, your preferred way of preserving food. And no, if Darren is here, this is not moonshine. It's water. I swear. Every time I bring my mason jar upstairs filled with water, I always get that question asked. Is it moonshine? No, it's not. Do you guys want to share your preferred method of preservation? And as the live goes by, I'm just going to read you guys. And I came prepared. I have some notes as always, so I don't forget anything. I'll be completely honest. Hi, Tracy. My preferred way of preservation is it's not to preserve food. I prefer harvesting peak produce in the garden and eat it fresh, because this is where you're going to have the most nutrient dense food, and obviously they're going to be like super fresh, super delicious. But since I can only enjoy that food maybe a week, maybe tops, depending of the crop, 2 weeks. I doubt I can have more than 3 weeks in the fridge stored properly. So no matter what, I have to preserve the food that I grow or the food that I buy in bulk. So sadly, I can't eat fresh all the time. And with the price going on right now, eating fresh all the time won't even be possible. So Scott says he loves to water bath, canning, and vacuum sealing, then freezing. Fresh is the best. Yes, canning veggies and freezing for meat. Oh dear, careful, Tracy's here. Are you referencing the other night with that, I can't remember the name, that robot that kicked you out? Okay, so I used to enjoy freezing. Like I would literally freeze everything when I started homesteading because it was the only knowledge I had. And you kind of realize quite fast, even though it's not time consuming or not as time consuming to freeze items, things start to take space a lot. So that means you need five freezers, six freezers if you freeze everything, which is not, that bad if you decide to freeze all your items. But I cannot have that many freezers in my house. I have a chest freezer that's a commercial size. I have a stand-up mini that's about 3 foot tall, maybe 4 foot tall. And I have 2 freezers on my fridge, and I have a mini chest freezer that I'm hoping that I can convert my chest freezer, the small one, with my vertical one, and just have one tall vertical one, but I'm still in the shops for that. Because those things, second of all, is very expensive, even used. And like used, you really have to be careful because you want to you don't want like to buy cheap, because you want them to last, because there's nothing worse than actually coming back home and an entire chest freezer being thawed out, or kids leaving a door open, or all the above situations of not having power to a freezer. That would be devastating. So space within the freezers, and space within my home. I don't have a basement. If I had a basement, maybe my method, I would still freeze a lot. But since I can't, I do some of it. So most of my meat is vacuum sealed and then frozen. I know Marie-Helene's gonna go when I say vacuum seal, because it's not a green option. I don't think you can recycle the plastic from the vacuum seal, but I find that vacuum sealing makes your meat or your vegetable last way longer than those Ziploc bags. But I did find some reusable 1 gallon bag that you can freeze in it, and that's on my wish list to try. Like it would be an investment to start off with, but if it holds good and I can freeze my vegetables in it, I will definitely remove the Ziploc out of my equation and just simply use those bags. But I haven't purchased them yet. I'm still waiting either Black Friday deals or any deals, because they are expensive. Yes, that Nightbot. That Nightbot was rude. Depend. Canning for the convenience afterwards and in case of an electric cut. But it is a long to do. I prefer freezing in bulk for big quantities on the spot. Yes, I feel you on that. But this year, I had 2 accidents already about freezers. One kid left the door open, and one kid decided to unplug a freezer and a fridge. So, and I just bought the pork when that happened. Like the pork was like maybe 2-3 weeks arrived at the house. So a full pork in one of my freezers, and they decided to unplug the mini freezer and the fridge. So I was like, oh my God. So that's why I installed sensors in my freezers to make sure that I get an alarm on my phone if something goes bad with one of my devices. Freezing, canning, and dehydrating right now. Yes, I would love to freeze dry, but those little buggers are so expensive at the moment. But that's definitely on my bucket list of like 5 years. If the website does have the same privileges as the United States, I remember they had the option of you paying per month what you can, and what you've reached the full value, dollar value of the item, they would ship out the freeze dryer. So it's like if you were putting a deposit on it, and it takes you 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever, and then they would end up shipping it. But the actual cost of it is big. I love freezing already prepared recipe. Yes, I used to freeze dump meals. That means everything was raw, uncooked, and I would just throw that in the crock pot and have a full meal. I used to freeze spaghetti sauce, um, stuffed cabbages, leftovers, stew, and stuff like that. Uh, did you make that same sound, Marilyn? Don't know what you're talking about. I saw lately a reusable vacuum seal bag. If it exists, please send me the link. But the thing is, I would not reuse a vacuum seal bag for raw meat, especially if it's chicken. Uh, I would have to read if the bags that I was talking about earlier, the gallon bags, if you can have raw meat in it. I'm waiting for the cost of the free dryer to go down. They are way expensive. Yes, it just came out, so probably in a couple of years when I can afford it, will be more reasonable and more popular. And I guess that, I think you guys are having like this Black Friday sales soon by the end of November. And, Christmas deals, early year deals. When I'm ready, I'm going to check it out or have a account or put money aside at the house so that I can save up for it. But it is very expensive. Even the smallest model is expensive, but since like we're 5, it wouldn't be logical to buy the 3 drawers. I would have to at least have the 4. Remy, you're heading for Freddie, and I'm heading to upstate New York to pick up my package. Oh, nice. Stop in and see me, Scott, though I assume your post office is way closer to the border. Usually they are. Hello, Joe. Yes, that's a couple of hours away, but I'm still. Oh, that's nice. I hope I'm going to say your name right. Hello, Brenda here. No, I wouldn't use reusable bag after. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm sure that people are going to say, yeah, but you're cooking the meat and blah, blah, blah. But chicken for me is one of the things that terrifies me. I had food poisoning of salmonella, and I wouldn't even wish that to my worst enemy. I was sick for 12 hours straight. So, and I think it was longer than that. And I was far from home. I was in Toronto and I had to drive 6 hours to go back home. And I was in the peak of the salmonella poisoning. So it was horrible. So I wouldn't reuse bags of chicken, even if they tell me it's safe. It's starting to get cold. Yes, it's 1 degree Celsius, I think. Before the sun went down, it was 1. Now it's 0, and temperature feels like -4 Celsius. So for United States people, -4 Celsius and Fahrenheit is 24 degrees. 24, 25 degrees. The day after the real Thanksgiving. Hey, we have real Thanksgiving. It's just we're not planned the same month. If I grew more food, it would be worth it, but I don't have enough to keep running. Okay. Well, it's true. If you don't have lots of food in your garden, it makes it hard to preserve big batches at the same time. So, but you do have the privileges of having fresh fruits and vegetables during your high season. Yes, We all started small. We all start small. And then it gets a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. And then you end up like me in like being drowned in tomatoes. um Oh, yeah, he's not a nice guy, not at all. Like, seriously, I was in pain for many, many days after because, like, there's everything I had in here came out and then some. And then there was no more, and I was still trying to exit things that were not there. So by trying to eat food after, I could barely hold it down because the my stomach wasn't handling food. So it was lovely. That's why I said, don't even wish that to my worst enemy. It happened to my boyfriend too, salmonella. The peak of it was at the airport. Oh my God. That must have been horrible. Oh God. Okay, so you're 0. So if I flip that, well, if it's 0 Fahrenheit, how much is that here? Oh no, it's 0 Celsius. My bad, my bad. Okay. So you have the same temperature as I'm having. It's just I have -4 with the windshield. I seal meat and then put that in a zippered bag for those packages that are where the comment go. Okay. That are bottom of freezer. I will reuse the Ziploc because it didn't. True. If it has no touchy of meat, I would reuse it. Unless my hands has meat on it and I touched it. Same Tracy, but the snow sticked and we're supposed to have. Okay, so you guys are in snow right now. Oh, really? Okay, then Mr. Google Pants is telling me. Wait, what is Mr. Google Pants is telling me? Mr. Google Pants is telling me that -4 is 24.8 Fahrenheit. And you're absolutely right. 0 is 32. Snowy, snowy, snowy for the next 6 months. I am supposed to have my first snow this week, but I saw drizzle, little snowflakes this afternoon. And I've been bugging my husband to put my winter tires on because, like, usually when snow falls down this late in the season, like the first couple of days, there's like so much snow, so I have no winter tires at the moment. And I told him like I need them like yesterday. So I've been bugging him a lot for my winter tires. Okay, so I'm guessing, Remy, you refuse for snow. You refuse snow. You refuse. So 10 degrees Celsius is 50 Fahrenheit. So I think I'm going to have like this sticky note next to my computer when I talk to you guys so I can convert automatic. All I know is that 23 is 70 Fahrenheit. So 23 Celsius is about 70 Fahrenheit. That's the only thing I can remember, but I'm going to try to remember 1050. Hello, Chris. Got 2 inches last week, 60 miles away. They got 12 inches. That's a lot. That's a lot of snow. Well, it is coming. Like that TV show, Winter's Coming. There's no way out of it. It is coming. Now, where was I? I talked about freezing. My preferred top number 1 right now at the moment is canning. I find that it's so useful to have ready meals with a couple of jars, and you can just dump those jars in a saucepan and create a meal super fast. Like, to give you an example, today I had hamburger stew that I transformed into a pot pie. So that means I took the liquid within the mason jar and created a roux out of it. And then I put salt, pepper, thyme, And then once that was thick enough, I dumped my the actual content of the mason jar. And then I wanted more vegetables, so I took out a mason jar of beets, a mason jar of yellow bush beans, and then I sliced a cucumber and I made a beet salad. So I opened 3 jars one night, and the only thing that was time consuming was the actual making of the crust, because the rest I was just adding a little bit of ingredients. Hello, Dave. I saw you somewhere. Where are you in the comments? Hello. Hi, it's the end of the world. Got my first frost last night. Woohoo! First frost. We're getting the first snow. Nope. Nope. No winter. You're going to hibernate for 6 months. Well, technically, you're not going to completely hibernate because you're not going to sleep for 6 months. You're just going to stay in. So you're going to cocoon for 6 months. Cocooning. That's not for me. That's not for me. Well, I'm happy I'm not the only one that's horrible with names. I do hope that I said your name right, Chris. So I'm remembering more and more. Scott is a new one. Chris, and then Jack and Lindsay. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Remy is going in south because there's no snow there anymore. He will stay at Maple all winter. Wouldn't that be fun? Hi, Dave. That's not for me. That's not for me. My husband told me it's snowing. I told him, shut up. Shut up. I'm not listening. Go like this. La, 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 la. It's not snowing in your computer room. You're absolutely right. Just make sure you don't have a window in your computer room. I have a window right there. So if it does start snowing, I will see. So like I was saying, my preferred method of preservation is definitely canning now, because of all the options that it's giving me. There is a flip side to that. When I started canning, I realized quite quickly that buying 2 cases of 12 of mason jars will never be enough. So since I had to be frugal when I started, I had to buy bulk boxes used. And at the time, I refused to pay over 30 cents, 40 cents a jar. 25 cents a jar was like, as soon as I can negotiate 25 cents a jar, I actually sometimes went and drive 45 minutes to go pick them up. But it was like at least 10 cases, 10, 12 cases. So that's how I started adding up all my jars. So I had a fun experiment with Annie from Mama Homemade. I started counting the amounts of mason jars that I have. So I had filled 657 jars. That was Wednesday. So I counted 657 jars. I've been using some since then, so I'm probably around 650. So we're going to say 650. And this year I can, to this point, 670 jars. But I still have some empty jars. I probably have between 700 and 800 jars. And I started with 2 cases. That's 5. No, I started canning at the other house. So maybe 7, 8 years ago, I started. I think I had 2 cases or 4 cases of 1 quart. And I used to can sauce and diced tomatoes, and that was it. So I would say that that's the flip side negative. So when you start, it's like your garden. You start to garden on a small scale. So you start canning on a small scale. And then the year after that, you get more experience and you say, you know what, I'm going to add, I don't know, a 20 by 20 more in my garden. And then you're going to have to buy more jars. And then add on, add on, add on, add on. And I'm 5 years in, and I have added pressure canning to this type of preserving. And I probably before pressure canning had 500 jars, 600 jars filled at all times. But now that I'm pressure canning, I am learning much different ways and more opportunities of preserving food like meat, fish, vegetables that are low in acidic. They're low acidity, so I have to pressure can them. Like beets, I usually pickle beets, and now I have pressure can them, and I probably will not have enough. So yes, it is super super big investment because you have to buy the canners, you have to buy the jars, and you have to buy the pressure canner. But there's another negative part that people see it as a good thing, but space. Same thing with my freezers. I lack space. I don't have a basement. I only have a crawl space. So I have to play like Tetris with my jars. Thank God I have a staircase going downstairs. I'm utilizing both sides of the staircases, and I have to add. We decided to complete our renovations of our kitchen in the month of December and January. I'm hoping that's what we're deciding. We have no idea if it's going to happen, but that means I have to relocate the temporary pantry I have in my kitchen. That means I have to build space somewhere. I have to fit all those jars somewhere. I don't know where, but I have to fit them somewhere. So space is definitely it's a good thing to lack space for jars, but it's also like stressful, like to leave jars laying around the house filled with food with 3 young kids that could potentially like, oops, drop a jar and like ruin it for you. And yes, there is also the time investment to do the canning recipes. If you're doing a raw pack, it's super easy. You thaw out your meat and you just put your meat in your mason jars, add a bit of warm water, salt, and then you pressure can it. But if you're doing soups, spaghetti sauce, broth, there's like more steps to be done. But the investment of time you're doing now during your growing season, you're actually investing in yourself in the colder months, because tonight, instead of spending 45 minutes in front of the oven, I maybe spent 30 minutes, 25 minutes, and I had the fun of doing it with my eldest daughter, and she was helping me because all I had to do was like dump the ingredients. So I don't know if I can put it in the negative. It's also negative, also positive. But overall, regardless of all the negative part of canning, it's my preference. I love canning. I probably will have to go with Annie hello, my name's Annie, and I have an addiction to mason jars, tomatoes, seeds, and canning. What did I miss? What did I miss? You guys were chatting a lot. So Tracy says, I reject your snowy reality and substitute a sandy beach with, oh God, sandy beach. That sounds good. I like having simple soups can and then have single ingredients to add. Yes, I do that this year. Since it's my first year pressure canning, I'm doing actual full recipes, and I'm actually canning separate ingredients. So that means I can potatoes, carrots, beets, broth in like single ingredients, and then I can taco soup, hamburger soup, hamburger stew, taco meat. And then instead of having just taco meat, I also canned just the hamburger meat cooked. And like I'm trying different recipes, different ways of preserving with my pressure canner. And it's probably going to take me a couple of years like to figure out the recipes that I really enjoy, because like water bathing for me is like super easy. I have like my regular recipes I do every year, my pizza sauce, my tomato sauce, and like that I'm so used to it because I've been doing it for like over 5 years. But pressure canning is like, ooh, this looks fun. This looks new. So I'm trying a lot of new recipes. Aftermath, after chicken math, jar math. Okay. The reason why I counted that is because, like, I did talk about moving. I still don't know if it's in the cards for me, but I have to figure out how to move. Oh, I probably will end up buying more jars or before if ever that happens. So I'm just going to say between 800 jars and 1,000 jars, regardless if it's empty or full. And some of those, when I bought them in lots, did not come in boxes. That is one of the reasons why I counted my jars. So I'm like, I need to one day possibly move those jars and then pray for the amount of hours of travel that my precious jars don't crack and survive the move. Stressful times. I have over 700 jars canned and probably have 100 more empty. I get some from an auction service, and my hubby puts me in canning jar shell once in a while. No, he hasn't done that yet. I don't think I will experience that, but he does say at one point, "You're canning again? You should take a break." I sure have too many too. Wow, 700 to 800 jars. You went from unsure to canning. Well, I had the jars. I had the jars before pressure canning. I actually bought jars this year because I started pressure canning, and I kind of had a feeling I was going to get hooked. So my feeling was good. This is my second year of canning. Got addicted to it once I could pressure can. Pressure canning is addictive, especially if you have a double stack, 21 or 23 quarts. They are addictive because you can pressure can 18 jars at a time. I have two canners. I have the 16 or 12 quarts and the 21 or 23 from Presto. I have about 300 or 350 empty. I was trying to eat out my food to rotate. I always rotate my food, always. So when I bring down my food that I canned, I have a date on my lids. And let's just say that I bring down a new batch, I always put it behind. And when I pull out one jar, I always make sure that I check 2-3 jars to make sure that it's the oldest so that I can rotate. And then in January, I actually visit my entire pantry and I look at all my older jars and I bring them out and I bring them on my counter and I look at different recipes that I can use them. So I use them up and I don't lose them. The first step is to admit you have a canning problem. I don't have a canning problem. I don't. I started. Remember, I told you I started with 4 cases of 1 liter jars. That's what I started with. You need to go to ACD, anonymous scanner. You see, but my addiction is a semi-good thing because I feed my family with it, just like seeds. Hello, Wanda. This is the first time I see you. And my wrap, I actually made it myself. That's another of my addictions. I love yarn. I have 2-3 like this. I really, really love yarn. Okay. Tracy, your hubby has a choice: a canning pantry addiction to the house or shelves in the living room with TV and couch. No. Like I said in my previous live, I can't remember if it was the one before, I'm trying to, you know, get stuff out that we're no longer using. So shelves on top of a TV is accumulating dust, accumulating crap that we no longer need. Well, that's why I say it's an addiction to have. Canning, I don't think it's an addiction because it feeds you, but you do need to take time off. I have Sandy Beach at Tracy Homestead, but the water is not a right. So we're gonna freeze just a little bit. uh, canning also can you pick the time to cook? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Brenda here. Okay, what book do you recommend again for canning under $20? There's two books that I use right now. Let me go on Amazon. Canning book. It's the one that I love is, where is it? What's the name? I like the Amish canning book. Right now it's $14.99, I think. No, Kindle. $17.89. The Amish canning book. I don't usually use it on a daily basis because they still use cornstarch in some of our recipes. But there are some good recipes, but they're big. So those are big batches. Where is it? I put my link in my description of every video. It's from Ball, and it's the previous book. Please tell me there's still some available. I can't see your comments for now. It's the complete book of home preserving. The Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving 400 Delicious and Creative Recipes for Today. And right now, it actually went down. It's $29.16. Those are the two books that I really, really enjoy. I can burrito in a jars and queso today. Cool. I can get a strong enough made in 15 minutes instead of having to take time to make roast. Yes, that's what I keep, like I said, it is time consuming when you have to make the big batch of 7 jars. Like I always try to have 6 to 7 liters or 9 pints of something, and then you have to process it, cook it, and then can it. So it is a long process, but then when you come those nights when you are lacking energy or motivation to actually cook dinner, instead of just taking out pasta, I'm making like pasta with butter or eating a toast with butter with cheese. Like those types of meal that you've pressure can make those nights that you eat good food. That's a lot of socks to buy to wrap the jars so they do not yes. I don't know how to move those jars. I probably will have to go to Dollarama and buy either like $1 pair of socks or go to like a store that sells meters of what do you call it? Jutsu. I'm losing my English tonight. Like a big roll of that and just like cut it and put it between my jars. I don't know. I'm not there yet, but I know that it's definitely going to be something. If ever it does happen, I will be filming it so that I can teach what to do and what not to do when you move for many hours. Canning jars. Yes, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Hello, Lynn. I haven't talked to you in a while. I hope the challenge, the collab is going well on what is homesteading to you. Thank you for sharing the links. I will. Okay. It's like, wait, like I never share how old I am unless I really know you personally. And I never share how much I weigh. And I never share how much yarn I have. I can tell you how many mason jars I have. No problem. But yarn, not sharing. Thank you, Wanda. Um, I collect boxes when I see a good one. I lower them. I do the same. My dad used to work for Walmart and he kept boxes of peanuts and cashews, and we created boxes for about the amount I was lacking. But over the years, like the kids step on a box, I probably like lose at least one or two lower boxes every year. But definitely when I move, I will have to create boxes for them with thick dividers and tall dividers so that the jars don't I don't know, slam together, if that's proper word. I use pieces of spacer between empty jars. Good for storage and great for possible. Yes. My first time here, but I will come back. Awesome. Thank you. If you want, and if you haven't, you can subscribe. And I am usually live every Sunday, and I now have a video out every Thursday. Thank you, Tracy, for sharing everyone's channel. Bi-weekly, I go to my pantry and I put a dozen or so items that I feel I need to use up. That's a good way. It's like meal planning to the next level. Lovely shawl. My niece knits and I had her make 3 for me. I love them and chilly days. Love having something. Yes, this is actually crochet. And the reason why I love shawls, I'm getting off topic, so sorry. I fell in love with shawls because of, especially triangle shawls, because of the endless possibilities. This is one of my favorite ways to wear them. And you're so warm. I have another one usually. I don't think I have it with me. No, it's downstairs. This is like super warm during the winter, and every time I go out, I get so many compliments when I wear it. Is this the book you're talking about? The USDA book? I made loaded nachos with my canned pork a few nights ago. That must have been delicious. Collab is going great, but it is exhausting hosting one so different from just joining one. True. Use card. Yes, definitely. Like as soon as we have an idea, because like we're moving an entire micro farm. We're not like a full big many acreage farm. We're on 1/3 of an acre. So moving would be a lot of logistics. But as soon as we figure out, okay, we're moving within, I don't know, I'm just going to say this, like between February and September, if the house sells, we're going to move. Well, as soon as we say that and we put the house in the market, I'm going to start saving every Amazon boxes I can find on the streets if I have to save my jars, because I think that I'm going to have to empty my freezers regardless of what's going on. I can't move if we have to drive many hours with freezers. I wouldn't want to risk them thawing out on the move. So I'm going to have to empty all of my freezers and can most of them. You can say how old you are. 29 is nothing to be ashamed of. You're so sweet. 50 is not bad neither, Remy. My birthday's tomorrow, and I keep forgetting how old I am. Really? When I wake up in the morning, my body reminds me of how old I am. And then coffee makes me feel young again. Never be ashamed of how I'm not ashamed of how old I am. I just don't share how old I am. Because there's times I tell people my age, they don't believe me at all. I had someone giving me 10 years younger than I am now, even more. I think it was 15 years younger. And when I told her my age, she was like, no, that's not possible. So sometimes I do say, well, when I am asked, I tell my age, and mostly no one believes me. You are 56. We gain experience and a lot of teachings. The older we are taught so many things. Go to the dollar store. They are filling shelves. Yes, bubble wrap. Definitely. Like, I have like all these things written down so that whenever it happens, I will go. But in Canada, I don't know if you're in Canada like I am. When I go to a store and they're going to put it in the garbage regardless. So I'm like, can you give it to me instead of putting it in the trash? And they can't because of rules and regulation. So I have to make myself a friend in a store, either a liquor store or a dollar store or whatever, so that they call me when they throw it out. My dad, when he used to work at Walmart, that's why I got my boxes, because you would ask boxes at Walmart normally and they'd say no, and they would put it in the recycle bin. Dave, I don't know. I think you're right. I've been dancing this week between 865 and 868. So I'm 867. So you're absolutely right. I'm 133 subs away from 1,000. A huge milestone for my channel. Okay, that's not for me. I'm doing a collab. Thankful Thursdays, if any of you wants to join in. What is it? If the video's up, where is the comment? If the video is out, I'll share it here. Okay, Lynn, we have moved several times being military, and granted, we usually had notice of the move date, but I made sure to use up. Yes. Okay, so on my whenever it happens, or if ever it happens list, I know that one of my priority, like top 10 priority, is to empty the freezers. Regardless if I'm canning or if I'm just consuming everything, donating, selling, exchanging, trading, or whatever, just emptying the freezers, so that I don't have that stress of that losing that investment of meat. I forget my age because I have lied a lot in a passive. Oh, you have lied. Oh no. You must be getting closer to 40 right now. You wise beyond your years. Thank you. That's a nice compliment. I try to be wise. You know, I've done my stupidness. I've partied. I've drank. I was always a designated driver, so I never did anything stupid. But I had my fair share of parties and fun. Remy, if I could, I would kiss you right now. We have 4 coolers. When I move, I will borrow more. Move one freezer at a time. Well, 2 hours away. If I was 2 hours away, maybe I would do that. But the way that we're going, it's not going to be 2 hours away. It's probably going to be closer to 4. But we haven't narrowed down exactly where we want to live. All I know, it's past Quebec City. That's all we know for now. Or that might change, but that's what my husband said. He was raised a little bit close to there, and he's always wished to go back. Have I said everything? I think I did for canning. Oh, yes. I forgot to say one advantage of canning food. It's shelf stable. So that means it can stay on the shelves. You don't have to find space for it in your freezers. You don't have to it just stays on your shelf. If it's in a cool, dry place, you would be able, like the lid says 12 months, but I'm sure you can push it to probably, if it's canned safely and the seal's great, I would say more than 18 to 24 months. The last one for me that I use and I enjoy is dehydrating. I'm still new to the dehydrating world. I invested in a dehydrator, the Excalibur one, the 9 trays with the see-through front. Like it's a window in the front. It was on special. And definitely that was a good investment because I had the round ones and I stopped using them, stopped dehydrating, using the round ones. It was a good quality one. It was a Presto one. I just did not like that it was round and there was something in the middle. I found it was a waste of space, so I stopped using it. And then I was hesitant between the Excalibur 9 trays and the Kosori, which was 6 trays but in stainless steel. But I went with the Excalibur 9 trays because of all the reading I've done. But I'm still new because sometimes you have to blanch before you dehydrate certain items. Herbs are super easy to dehydrate, but I also, since I'm super new to dehydrating, I don't use it that much. This year I do it for tea blends, for spices. I use it for dehydrating garlic, dehydrating onions. What else did I use it for? Fruit leather. This is a new one. And I'm planning to use it for yogurt and bread rise because I reactivated my sourdough and I think it would be a good place to put it to try it. But next year I want to put out some content for different options that you don't have to invest so much on a dehydrator, that you could do it totally without power and like DIY with very cheap material, and you would come up with the same result without the investment. That's something I really want to explore with you guys over the next year. So that's why I'm experimenting a little bit with dehydrating and then like learning knowledge, and then I will share everything with you guys. I don't know yet. We know we do not want to leave Quebec, the province of Quebec, because it would cause so much heartaches and headaches, because like we have to get our car examined in certain provinces and work visa. We want it to be as simple as possible. So all we know is that we're staying in Quebec. We did speak about New Brunswick. We have no idea what would be the it would be Canadian for Canadian, but it would be a move for provinces. So I don't know exactly what we would need to do to switch provinces, but it's definitely past the Quebec City portion. So we want to have salt water. We want to be close to the high tide, the low tide, because every time we went to Gaspésie, which is the furthest part of Quebec, we enjoyed the low tide, the high tide, and that smell of salt water. Even though it was cold and the air was chilly on the cheeks, because we used to go in early June, it's definitely something we enjoy. So wherever we move, we have to decide if my husband will work or not. So that is like the biggest key point. If he works, well, then we have to be close to a big town. If he doesn't work, well, then we would have to find a way to find income. Obviously, I am really hoping that within the next couple of months I can get monetized and get some of my merch out there and get known, but I'm not there yet. So that's why nothing is actually just fixed and in concrete. It's mainly us just talking out loud. Texas. So you're in the South with the accent, the hardcore accent. Woo! Another Excalibur user. Nothing needs to be done. What do you mean? We are looking to move in the next 3 years. We want out of Ontario, hoping for New Brunswick. Quebec is much cheaper than New Brunswick. Well, wherever we move, there's always going to be positive and negative. So we need to figure out a location that's going to be more positive than negative. And my husband speaks English, but not that much. That would be I'm guessing Newfoundland, or that would be NF. Or are you swearing and you don't you don't want YouTube to pick it up? I don't want the hassle of moving again, God knows, but we want even more rural than we have. I am so tired of people. We just need to get Aiden out of high school. I gotta get some stuff done. Enjoy. See you next week. Thanks for popping in. Mine are still young, so another thing on our list if we move is schools. And at least one of my son has some learning difficulties, and I was told that the chances of my second son to have it are very high. So I would have to be in a location that has access to help for my son. That would be like on the top 10 priorities, like hospital being one of them. A food store, somewhat food store. I don't want to travel an hour to go get some milk if I need milk. Okay, so you want to move here, but I won't be able to go and see you guys. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Rimouski. Rimouski is on the list of towns because Rimouski is a bigger town. It's a little bit smaller wise than Quebec City. It has a lot of schools. I know that I think there's a hospital in Rimouski. There's a CEGEP, and there's a lot of stores. So Rimouski, between Quebec and Rimouski, is where we drew a line on the map. But we never know. We never know. I have no idea what's in the cards for us. Annie, it is easier here in New Brunswick with the kids who needs help. Not necessarily, we don't mind the road trips. Everyone is going like east. Everyone's moving towards like Marie-Laurie, Darren, Marilyn. Who else is down there? We're all going to be like close by, which is actually easier. We'll be able to see each other more than once a year. Sure, I'll pick your brains for sure. I also have on my list, if I can, I would not want to be zone 3. I would prefer to be zone 4. For many, many, many reasons. But zone 3, there's less pests. So I would have to have lots of high tunnels. And I would have probably to say goodbye to a lot of my tomato varieties. So I'm not there yet. Like, I know I want to be zone 4 because of that. Yes, way, way, way south. Way hotter than here. That's not for me. And my last preserving method I have used is fermenting. And I'm so sorry for you guys that enjoy fermenting. For the life of me, I cannot succeed in fermenting. And it's not because of a lack of trying. Last year I fermented, I think it was 20 jars. And after, like, I was told to store them in a cool place. And since here we don't have air conditioning, I stored them in my fridge. And they wouldn't even last a month. And I would sterilize every single tiny little item I was using. I followed every single step. I used the right salt, the right water. And then when I got the recipe right and it would last for many, many months, I would feed it to my family. They wouldn't eat it. So I've came to the conclusion that fermenting is not yet something my family is ready for as a preserving method. Fermenting wise, I am doing water kefir, milk kefir, sourdough, in, I think you can call this fermenting, apple cider vinegar. And if Dave is still here and Marilyn, I think the fermenting part I'm really, really looking forward to is to learn how to brew my own beer in wine and maybe rum. I don't know. I have to pick you guys' brain, but I don't know if I'm going to be doing this year or the year after. But definitely, like, that's one of the fermenting. I'm really hoping I can get it done, because I don't know. I've tried so many times in wasting the produce and not eating it or throwing it to my chickens is just like heartbreaking. Really heartbreaking. It is fun because it's fast. Lynn, I have dehydrated sourdough starter from Hope. My sourdough is called Hope. If ever I can mail it to you. So I don't know. Fermenting seems really attractive. You can ferment really fast, throw a couple of things in a jar, fast, chop, chop, chop. Within 10 minutes, your salsa's like all chopped up and ready in your mason jar. All you have to do is burp all of them. But I don't know, it just didn't work. Here it didn't work. Find it cold enough to use the cold room store beer. Nice. I don't have access to a cold enough location in the house to store vegetables. I keep my house warm at 17 degrees Celsius, but it's too hot for vegetables. Well, sourdough is definitely fermented, but it's different. Send me a message, Lynn, so that I don't forget to look for it and send it to you. Well, sauerkraut. Have you ever eaten sauerkraut? That's probably only thing I would ferment is sauerkraut, and like sauerkraut with a different cabbage with a different vegetable, and then can it. That's probably the only thing that I am able to do here. Apple cider vinegar is my favorite and most used fermentation on the homestead. I put it in my chicken water. Well, that's the thing. I froze a lot of my cores of my apples so I can do many, many batches of apple cider vinegar, so that I can introduce it in the in the waterer of my my chickens, my animals, so that it could be like a natural booster, along with sometimes a clove of garlic or thyme to help them out. I've said it all. If anyone wants to share their preferred method of preservation, it is time to share it, because I can read it. And Remy, look what I took out. It fell behind my drawer and I found it this morning. So I said, I'm going to take it back out. Okay, Lynn, I'll wait for your message and then I'll look for it in the morning. Yes. My daughter wanted one and I'm like, "You're going to do what with it?" No, this is not water. This is magical water. It's beer. This is water. This is beer. Oh, great. Thanks, Dave. Thanks. Squash. There's only like 3-4 sips left. Squash. Again. You guys. Good night, Lynn. I'm actually going to go soon, too. Talk to you later on this week. I think everyone that's here shared their preferred methods of preservation. Yeah, everyone did. What is everyone planning for next week? Anything special other than winter's coming and snow's coming and Remy hibernating and traveling tomorrow to go visit some friends? I know you guys on a delay, so I'm just going to wait a little bit. I prefer freezing because it's easier to preserve, but I prefer eating from canning. That's something I did not say. Sometimes freezing is the easiest way, but it's not the most tasteful way to preserve food. But like you need sometimes to choose your battles. Sometimes lack of time, lack of energy, it's easier to dump a couple of stuff in your freezer and then dealing with it later on if you can can it. Finishing cutting the tree that fell. I hope it didn't destroy anything. Trying to pick things. Yeah. I have Brussels sprouts that I need to pick. Beets. I don't think they're going to do anything. And I emptied a one of my rabbit cage. Well, where all my rabbits are, what's on the floor, the manure, and I added it to a raised bed that has cabbages growing. So fall cabbages have been dumped, like a lot of manure of rabbits, and it rained like crazy for 12 hours straight. So tomorrow I'm gonna go check out those cabbages to see if they have double in size. I thought they were gone, but if I was able to get a lot of that cold manure to the cabbages, maybe I'll have some cabbages to do sauerkraut this winter, because I think I only ate 3 cabbages this summer because they were infested with pests or too small. And I have to pick up everything that was left by the kids outside. Love sauerkraut and have good luck with it. Awesome. Protecting my apple trees. I don't have trees. I do have to cut my raspberries. You know, you're supposed to cut them down a little bit. Chainsaw, take it out, or cutters. We just cut everything. At least it's in the driveway, but it's still in the way. What do I have planned for this week? Well, this week, it's the first week that I didn't plan anything. Normally on Sunday night or Saturday night, I have like an idea of what needs to be done. But this week, it's the first week that I have nothing. And I think I'm going to leave it that way so that I can let myself enjoy the calm after all that work. And every year this catches up to me. Like I've been on the go, 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 go. And then when that stops, I don't know what to do myself. I'm like looking everywhere for stuff to do, and I need to relearn how to sit down and relax. So I think that's what I'll be doing this week. Obviously, there's always things that's going to come up, but I do hope that I'll be able to relax a lot this week. No worries. We will chat again. Take care. Have a blessed week as well. I think I will go also. Last week, I left early in that 15 minutes it gave me with the kids just before going to bed was a blessing because that night did not end up in chaos. So you guys, I'm going to thank you for popping in, chatting with me, and answering my questions. I hope this was helpful. I hope you have all a blessed week. And I'm going to tell you bye.